Let's talk about buying a business and doing due diligence. This may be a term you've seen floating around. Due diligence is really just a fancy way of saying checking what you're buying. If you or I was buying a used car, we would probably pop the hood open, take a look around it, have a knowledgeable friend look over the car, or take it to a mechanic. That is the due diligence of purchasing a car, right? We want to check that car over. We're going to look at the Carfax, see if it's been in any accidents. We're going to then take a look around it, maybe have a knowledgeable or experienced person really look at it, see if there's any signs of damage, any apparent issues with the engine or transmission. We're doing due diligence. We're going to do the same when we're acquiring a business. They just call it this fancy word of due diligence. But all it really means is you're going to go out there and check things over to make sure you understand what you're buying. And some things that might be in a standard due diligence checklist, and your lawyer can help you with this, would be, or does the business have title to the things it needs, right? Does it own the IP, the intellectual property, the names, and the branding and the things it's using? Does it own those, or has it got rights to use those? What about the assets used in the business? Does it own the building? Does it rent the building? What about any machinery or equipment if it's a manufacturing business, right? You're checking over who owns what and who does what, and is the business what it says it is. You're also going to, as part of this process, generally check the financial statements. How are the financials going? Is the business producing what the owner said it was? Is the business what you think you're buying? What's there, what's not there? And a lot of times, when you really get under the hood, using the car analogy of the business, when you're really looking around doing this due diligence, what you'll find is there may be some embedded problems. Maybe some taxes weren't paid. Maybe the business has issues with employees. Maybe there's an equity issue. Maybe somebody was issued stock options or rights to buy shares in the company, and you've got to deal with that. So what you're doing in the due diligence exercise is you're working with your team. Usually you're going to have at least an accountant and a lawyer involved, and maybe some other professionals as well. And you're really going to be looking around, seeing what you're buying to make sure that you get what you think you're getting. So it's a really fancy phrase, but due diligence really means just checking out what you're getting. And so you want to make sure you really spend some time in this phase. You're going to have to spend some money, put some money at risk. But what you're avoiding is those headaches down the road, just like that car. When you buy that car, you pay the mechanic to look over it, and that mechanic tells you, hey, this car has a major issue with the engine. You don't buy it. That little bit of money you paid to the mechanic was really smart investment because it avoided you from getting into a big problem. You could think about business due diligence in a similar way. When you're looking at the business, if you start finding problems that are not going to be able to easily be resolved, you may want to walk away, not acquire that business, and save yourself a headache. And that's really what this is about, is making sure you understand what you're buying, and that you're putting good money, the money or the time or the energy or whatever you're investing in a business, you're putting good assets into a good asset, right? You don't want to put good assets after bad assets. So it's really smart to spend some time in due diligence. Very good idea to get a team involved, consultant, lawyer who's done transactions before, who can give you a good due diligence checklist, help you work through the process and check things over. So make sure you do that. Would love to hear your comments and questions below. Obviously, don't post anything confidential here on YouTube. It's a public forum. People can see things, so things are not going to be protected with confidentiality if you post them. But we'd love to hear from you about what your experience has been. Have you been burned in the due diligence process? Are you thinking about acquiring a business? What questions do you have about due diligence? We generally don't answer people's questions one-on-one, but if I see a general theme to questions, I'm always glad to potentially do another video that covers that. All right, look forward to seeing you soon. Make sure you check out our other videos here on the channel and subscribe, and I'll see you for another video soon.